Hi, Chad here with Purple Collar Life, and in today's video I want to talk to you about power outages, mainly because it's a timely topic, because from 3 o'clock yesterday through most of the day today we didn't have electricity. I want to show you how we handle that and what I think is a great system. So I wanted to come out and get video of this before it gets too dark, but this is, as you can see, not a normal meter. Our electric meter has this part that sticks out of it, and we purchased this through our electric company. This is GenerLink. And what this allows us to do is plug a generator into the main input of the panel whenever we don't have electricity. That eliminates any possibilities of backfeed, and as long as the generator is plugged in, the electricity coming from the main from the electric company is turned off. Once the electric company restores power, we can disconnect the generator and everything goes back to normal. So let me show you the generator and the electric panel and how I utilize those. Before we go in, I did want to show you how this connects. You can see there's a weatherproof port right here, and you can see a cable with a connector right here. You just pull down on this and it locks up in there. You can see I've got this long heavy-duty cord that runs from the electric meter up into my garage, and that was included in the price. You have to tell them exactly how far away from the meter your generator will be, and they give you a cord that is amp rated and the right distance for your service, so that when you need to run your generator, you're not worrying about cords or having the right gauge wire. The GenerLink addition to the meter and the cord that comes with it is part of the system that makes us be able to use electricity when the electricity is out. This is the second part. You can see that cord plugs in right here. And this isn't anything special for a generator. This is something I picked up, I think at Home, it might have been at Tractor Supply or Home Depot during a power outage a long time ago, 15 years ago probably. And you can see this is not a huge generator either. It's a 5500 running watt, 8500 starting watts. You can see it's a basic Briggs & Stratton Elite Series portable generator. It is not quiet. It has a gas tank up on the top with a gauge. It has an on-off switch, a choke, and a fuel shutoff. And I only ever use this for when we have power outages. And there is a process. I start in the panel and turn off certain circuits because obviously this isn't enough wattage to power the whole house. And I'll show you why in just a minute, but I wanted to show you this and walk you through the process. So we do everything we need to do inside in the breakers. Then I come out here, I get the big yellow cord out, I keep it stored here in the garage. Connect it on both ends before you start the generator. And then starting the generator is easy. Just flip the switch to on, turn the fuel on, choke it, and a couple pulls and it turns right over even after having sat for quite a while. When I'm done with it, I shut the fuel off first. Let it use up the fuel that's in the carburetor, and then I hit the off switch, take the cord out, wrap up the cord, slide the generator back over into its corner. We run the generator here in the garage. You see I put it right beside the man door. Prop it so that the man door can't close. It's on the tire of the generator. And then it just runs in here while we need it to. Now let's take a look at the electric panel inside. While we're out here, I'll show you the outside garage electric panel. There are some things out here I turn off when the electricity's out that I don't need the generator to try to do. Obviously this big 20 amp breaker. This is for the charger that charges the Chevy Volt. So I turn that off. I turn off the back wall electric outlets in here. I turn off the garage door openers unless I need them. And then I leave lights on in here in case I need them, and I leave a couple receptacles in here in case I need them. And like I say, if I needed to use the garage door openers, I would flip this one back up. I did want to mention this generator is just one more thing that I run ethanol-free gasoline only. I did want to mention our house is an all-electric house, no natural gas. So all of our heat is electric baseboard heat, and you can tell that uses a lot of electricity. We've got a full panel here. But what I do for the generator is, I think you can see some marks. These are to help me because when the generator's needed, you don't have much light, you just have to bring a flashlight down here. These tell me which breakers to flip on and off. So in my system, anything with I used a metallic red Sharpie here. Anything with that Sharpie needs to be on. For example, this particular breaker runs the water tank, the pressure tank, and the water pump. So that allows us to still use the toilet, run water when we need to, and it's not an issue. The generator makes plenty of electricity to run that water pump in our water well. This, anything silver, is an option. So that means, I can turn that on, but then I have to be really careful about what else is on, maybe even turn some things off. This particular one is the hot water heater. So, if you wanted to take a shower after not having electricity for a while, you could turn this on, just have to be really careful what else we have running. You can see I have other certain bedrooms that I can turn the power on to the outlets or the lights. And then up here I've got some things marked as optional. But that system of using the metallic Sharpie on the breaker makes it really easy for me to come down here in the dark with the flashlight and flip the red ones only at first, and then if you need certain things on as an option, I can turn those on as well. You can see right now everything's on. Our power came back on. It went off at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, came back on just under 24 hours later. But that's not all. No, there's more. We have an addition to the house, and we ran out of breakers in the original box. So this is a second box of breakers just for the addition. And you can see even on this set, I've got breakers marked as red and orange. And some of the key things that I keep on in here, this particular one, it goes out to the garage, so I want to make sure I have power out in the garage. So I flip it to the right, or I leave it on, it's marked red. I also have a pendant light that lights up our great room and our kitchen. It's actually right above the sink. So that's a great thing to have on. It's on its own circuit. I can leave that on. Up at the top here, I've got the pellet stove. It always seems like you lose electricity when you need heat. Since we have an all-electric house, that means none of our baseboard heaters work. And even with the generator, it wouldn't be powerful enough to run the baseboard heaters in more than one room. So we make sure the pellet stove can still run and the wood burner in the basement, so I leave those breakers on, and that allows those things to not only operate but have a fan to blow that heat around. So last night was in the 30s. We were plenty warm enough, but you can see how having these circuits marked, getting the GenerLink, getting the right cord that's the right length and the right rating, the right gauge for the distance. Ours is a 40-foot cord designed specifically for our house and our system, our needs, our generator. The marked breakers and knowing what things to turn off and leave on really make having a generator an excellent option for when the power's out, especially when you have an all-electric house like us. So obviously this was an investment up front. I think I paid about $600 for that generator all those years ago at a Tractor Supply or a Home Depot. I can't remember where I got it. I remember I got it because there was a hurricane headed that was going to make a lot of rainfall in our area, and they predicted the electricity would be out for a while, so I got the generator for that. And then I added the GenerLink and the wire, and I think that was somewhere around $1,200 or $1,500, so not an inexpensive addition, but certainly as many times as we've used it and the safety of it, that you're not backfeeding the system, there's no chance of any type of electrical shock because it's all done outside. I really like that system. I like the safety factor in it. I like that it doesn't allow the regular electric company to come into the house until I disconnect the generator. And then, it really makes sense to me to label all the breakers and then especially to mark the ones that you need to turn on when you're running on the generator, so you know which ones to leave off, which ones to leave on. So I wanted to bring Jennifer into this video to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that we were able to do last night and this morning, even though there was no electricity in our all-electric house, thanks to the GenerLink, the cord that came with it, and our generator.
So we went, I don't know, how many years ago did we get that set up?
I don't know, I was trying to remember. I told him I thought it cost about $1,500 for that GenerLink and the 40-foot cord that was designed for our house needs and the generator. I looked it up just recently, just tonight, and the range now, it depends on the size of cord you need and what the amp draw of your house is, but they range from about $800 to $1,500. So I was pretty accurate in that ballpark guess, and that was a number of years ago.
But my question was, how many years ago did we have it done?
I don't know, I'm going to say 10 years ago, maybe more. I had the generator for longer.
So it was really frustrating when we would be without power for an extended period of time. I knew that Chad had that generator out in the garage, and I would always say, why can't you just go out and plug it into the house so that we have power to be able to have some lights on, some heat, flush the toilet? And he always said it wasn't that easy just to be able to do that. So
and the things that we did use it for, like if it were a long power outage, we would run an extension cord, a 110-volt long cord, through the door of the house. You'd have to have the door propped open and keep the refrigerator or the freezer going so you didn't lose that good food. So the downside to that on a cold day is you've got your door open just enough for that wire to come through.
So since Chad has that system hooked up in the house, like for example, last night we had a windstorm really bad come through the area. Multiple counties were without power. Some areas they were predicting that it would be out for days. I think maybe you let it out for an hour or so before you plugged it in. It was cold yesterday in the 30s. We were able to run the pellet stove. We had a little bit of light.
We could have the television, the computer network, the Amazon Fire Stick, but most importantly we could use the water pump. So if you wanted to not only use water, but you could use the toilet. We were able to get showers last night.
Yeah, and that's something that typically taking a shower without power when you have everything electric isn't even an option at all. And we all three were able to take hot showers last night with the generator running. Mackenzie still had schoolwork to do, so the internet was able to fire up and she was able to get her work done. And then we forgot actually when we went to bed that the rest of the house was cold because the generator was running the pellet stove all evening.
And then the other thing, when you have an all-electric house like us, not only are you not able to typically, when there's a power outage, you can't use any water well, you can't use the electric baseboard heaters, you also can't cook anything. So last night, even though we didn't have electricity, thanks to the generator, we could warm some stuff up in the microwave. So that was nice to have a meal. And you don't have to worry about getting in and out of the refrigerator. When electricity goes out normally, you've got to be really cautious about opening and closing the refrigerator. You want to keep that coldness in there as long as possible, keep everything chilled. It's nice to not have to worry about your frozen meats and any meals that are in the refrigerator.
And both of us working from home right now and Mackenzie doing school, when we woke up this morning, we assumed we would have power back, but when we were still without power, Chad went and got some more gasoline, was able to come back probably within 15 minutes, had everything hooked up again, and we were able to both work from home and do school really without any inconvenience at all.
Right. And like I said, it's a lot of prep work up front to make that happen. Unless you have a generator that's big enough to run your entire house, and maybe if the house wasn't all electric, that would be more possible. But our generator can't run everything in our entire house. So the prep work of marking those breakers, which ones you want to turn on when there's a power outage and you're down there standing with a flashlight, that's really a helpful system.
I'm just excited that typically when he wants to do an upgrade or buy something new for the house, it's typically a piece of equipment or something that I don't necessarily see a ton of value as far as being useful around the house on a regular basis. But definitely his setup with the generator makes it very, very convenient when we have a power outage. It's a good job.
Thank you. So again, thank you for watching this video with us. Hopefully it was informative and helpful for some of you. If you like videos like this, make sure you click that like button, comment below, and if you're not already a subscriber, click the subscribe button and the little bell beside it so that you can notify when we put out new videos. You can see we've got the power back on here tonight, but it's still nice to enjoy the warmth of the pellet stove, and this is one of Olive's favorite spots. Olive really appreciates that the generator running allows the pellet stove to still run and put out heat. She loves to lay right there in front of it, especially on cold nights. Olive.